In today's video, I'm going to show you how we can take a CSV data file in Godot and load it into our project with just a few lines of code. All right, everybody. So let's get started. I want to talk about what I'm going to do in this video and what I'm going to show you. So a common thing that I see is people wanting alternative ways to bring data into their games. And, you can use JSON files, CSV files, and maybe other external database type solutions. And what I want to talk about in this video, obviously, is the CSV route. And, in Godot, it's quite straightforward to bring a CSV file into your project, in part because Godot has this really nice and robust localization system that supports and reads CSV files in. That also happens to be one of the weird little wrinkles we're going to have to work around. Because Godot uses CSV files for their localization files, it is designed to treat them as such when you import them, meaning anytime you bring a CSV file into your project, Godot is going to assume it's for localization, translation type purposes. And so we'll work around that today. And then I'm also going to just show you a basic function. What you can see on the screen here, we're going to have a load CSV as array function that will take the data from a CSV file and put it into some sort of an array. Now, this is a generic and basic solution, and so for your needs, for your projects, you may need to take this a step further. And simply what we're going to do is I've got a scene here, and this scene already has some UI. In fact, let me just run this scene. So it doesn't yet load the CSV files, but I'm not going to cover how I built this. It's pretty basic. It's a UI with some buttons, and as we click them, it's going to load a different CSV file here. And so there's some guts and some internals. And for all of my Patreon supporters who are subscribed at the Pixel Adventurer tier, they do have access to this, the source files for this example I'm going to show. And that's available in the Pixel Adventurer GitHub repository. So let's go ahead and look at this and talk about it. So I'll give a real quick review of some of the other code. I've got code that's going to display my CSV data, clear it, an onload button click handling function, and just some functions to help create labels that are used to display the data. So you could probably pause and get most of the code from this if you need it. But I want to talk first about the CSV file issues I mentioned earlier. All right, so you can see I actually have a CSV import folder with some things set up, and you can see I've got a folder for my CSV files, and I've got 3 of them in there, an armor, item, and weapon example. So let me just show you what happens when I import a CSV file from scratch. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder here just as an example. So we'll just call this CSV example. And then I'm going to open this in the Explorer here. So let's see where that file goes. CSV example, open in File Manager. And so I've got an empty folder, and let me just go over to the actual CSV files I've imported. And I'm going to just grab this armor example and let me just open this CSV file and kind of show it to you too real quick. So if I look at this like in Notepad, it's just a basic comma separated list. You can see I've got a few columns in here. If this were a spreadsheet, you'd see name, type, cost, and armor. And then, each row is a comma separated list of values that correspond with those. So we've got leather armor, etc. Okay. So I'm going to come back over here and just copy this armor example, and I'm going to put it in the CSV example folder. Now, when I go back to Godot, watch what happens. Okay, it's imported it, and look what it did. I've got my CSV file right here, but it created these other files, an armor example.armor.translation. See, it took like each column of this CSV, and it created a translation file from it. Okay, and I have no use for those. This is the desired behavior when you're using CSVs for your translation and localization files, but for what our purposes are, we don't need that. Fortunately, it is pretty simple to work around this, although I don't believe there's a way to handle CSV files as just standard CSV by default, but let me show you what we can do. So we just come over to this armor example CSV, and then under the import panel, you're going to see there's a few options here. We've got import as CSV translation, and we can change this to keep file exported as is or skip file not exported. And if we want to be able to use this data in our game and load it even after we build it and whatnot, we want this keep file exported as is. So it's going to just keep the CSV file in the project and do nothing else with it. So if we select that and say re-import, you'll see that it changed my armorexample.csv. However, it did not get rid of these other files. So we can just get rid of these translation files at this point. We don't need them anymore. Okay. So that's how you get a CSV to just be treated like normal. And from this point forward, if we make any changes to this file, it's going to just stay as is. All right. So that's step number one, is making sure you're able to bring in your CSV files and, not have them turn into these weird translation files. All right. Okay, so let's talk about the code to import these. And I've got a function here that's built, right? It just has comments. And what the function is load CSV as array. So as it says, I'm going to load a CSV file, and then I'm going to return an array, okay? And that's going to be just kind of like an array with just string values, right, for all of these things. And so let's look at this. Now, the first thing that we need to do is let's just declare something that we can return. You can see right now I'm just returning an empty array, right? But I actually need to return whatever these are. So let's start our function by defining that. So I'm just going to make a new variable called array of type array and just set it equal to an empty array. And then I'm just going to come down here to my return and just return that array. All right. So pretty straightforward so far. That's no real change. It's still empty, but obviously as we go through this function, we will begin populating that array. Now, in order to be able to read this file, we can use some of Godot's built-in functions. So it's actually pretty straightforward to do this. So we've got a file that we're going to read. And if you're familiar with this, Godot has this class called file access. And let's just go look at this. This class can be used to permanently store data in the user's device's file system and read from it. So it's useful to store save game data or configuration files. And then it goes on to give lots of examples and, of course, breaks down all of the different methods and other things that it has. And so what we're going to use in this file access class is we're going to use this open method or function. And what this is expecting is, as you can see here, we need a path to the file that we're going to open. And then there's some flags. Let's deal with the path first. And I've already defined in my function that I need to pass in the CSV path. So I'm just going to simply say CSV _ path. And to give you an idea, you can see I've got some different paths up here as examples. So these are the paths to my CSV resources. And let me just delete this and show you. So if you need this weapon path, you could simply just drag this in here and drop it like that. That's kind of how you can do that. Just make sure you have a path to a file that does exist. And as stated, this could be done outside the users or the game directory. I think ideally that would probably be in the user folder so that it's cross-platform compatible. But okay, so we're going to open this CSV path. Obviously, we have an error because we haven't finished providing the arguments that we need for this function. And so this next one are the flags. And what we're going to do is we're going to just access. We only need to read this file for this example. So I'm just going to say file access dot, and you kind of saw it there for a second, read. There's some other options. Obviously, there's read and write. Okay, so here we go. We're going to just load this file and just give us access to read it. And then right here, just to be safe, we just want to check and make sure we actually loaded something, because if we didn't, then the rest of the code won't work. So I'll just say if file equals null, right? Meaning we didn't load anything. Then we can go ahead and print. And in fact, maybe we, not print, but print. Maybe we do print error so that it comes out like an error. And then we'll just say a message of no CSV found. And then maybe what we would want to do is append the CSV path that we tried to load right here. Okay. And of course, we will return. And because this method expects us to return an array, we can still return that same array. It'll just be an empty array, right? So we'll print a little error to the console. So you as a developer will see that there was a problem and then return the array. Okay. Now, everything that happens after this, and there's not a lot of code to make this work, is to just take that CSV file. And as my comment says here, we're going to iterate over each line of the CSV file, which if you recall, here we go. We've got the different lines. Okay. It's going to take each of those lines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and append each line as an array of items within our results array here. Okay. So let's write this. We'll say while. We're going to use a while loop because there's a great function here. So while not, we're going to say file.eof reached, and EOF stands for end of file. So while we haven't reached the end of the file, we're going to keep repeating the following bit of code. We'll create a new line. So we'll say var line equals, and then we'll just, there's a function we can call called file.get_line. Okay. And let's just look at this real quick. Returns the next line of the file as a string. Okay. And as it says here, it will not include new line or return characters, but that's not too important for this example, but it might be. Okay. So here we go. We're just going to get the next line and then we'll just append it to our array. So let's say array.append. And then what I'm going to do here, we could just append the string, that whole line like this. But what I want is I want to separate each value as a separate array or as a separate item in our array. And there's a really simple way to do that because this is comma CSV, so it's comma delineated. We can come in here and we can say line.split, okay? And the delimiter, a string, right? The thing that separates each part of the string that we want to split is going to be a comma. Oop, that's not a comma. There's a comma. Okay, so we just put that in there and we're good to go. So what that's going to do is it's going to just take each line, and in the case of the example here, right, we're going to get 4 values from each line of the array, okay? And what's nice about this is this doesn't care how many columns or how many values you have in your CSV file. If you've got 5 columns or 2 columns, it doesn't matter. This is just a generic way to read it. And then I think a nice thing to do if you're making an advanced application or solution from this is you probably want to build some sort of translation layer in your code where you can take those lines and maybe instead of just storing them as an array of strings and things like that, you could convert them to some sort of data or object class, okay? And that would be pretty straightforward. But this thing that I'm building right now is generic. And what we've done here is we've already created the array, and so it's just going to return it down here and we're good. But there is one other thing that we want to do. Anytime we open a file with file access, it's important that we close it. So I'm going to say file.close, you know, just to free up that memory and make sure we don't run into any issues with that in the future. And so that's the complete working function to load this array and return it, okay? Or I should say load the CSV and return it as an array. Now, because I've already built something that handles this, again, I can kind of show you this. So I have buttons that when I click, it calls this, well, where's the click handler? Onload button clicked. I'm going to just call this other function. Each button that I have has a CSV path associated with it. So these paths up here I showed you were for your example or for example purposes. You don't need to do it that way. But yeah, so back to my function here. My click handler looks at this, which then calls this display CSV data, and that's going to clear my UI. So I'm not going to show you, or it's going to clear the data, empty that array, and then I'm going to go through and I'm going to get a new data set from the whatever CSV file we're loading. And if it's empty, we'll do nothing, and then we can display the data. And the display data function is similarly, it's got a clear data function that I've written. And just for each item in the array, we're essentially going to go through and just create a row and populate it with some data labels that I create using this function here, okay? If you'd like to hear an explanation of how I did something like this, feel free to point it out in the comments, and maybe I'll make a video about a UI kind of like this in the future. Let's just go ahead and run it. Likely most of you just want to see it. So here we go. I've got 3 different things, and we looked at... we already looked at the armor example, so let's just click load armor. And here you can see that I've got those values now displayed on my screen, okay? And you can see, in fact, let me just zoom in on this. We've got my leather armor, iron cuirass, forest cloak, ninja garb, rock armor, which would be really heavy, right? And then these various values associated with it. And likewise, I've got a weapon CSV that I could load, or an item CSV, which you can see only has 2 columns. All right. So pretty straightforward to load CSV. And then this way, if you've got a team and you're working on something and you have a spreadsheet that tracks, I mean, I think inventory is an obvious one, but maybe you use it to track some other thing like stats for enemies or recipes for crafting, etc. Now you have a way that you could load this into your project, and then someone without being in Godot could edit that file, send it to you, or add it to the project folder, and then you've got code to be able to read it. Now, for those of you who are new to my channel, I've been working on an action RPG tutorial series. It's quite long running and full of lots of information, and so if you want to check that out, find it linked here in just a moment. And I want to thank all of my Patreon members and for all their support and helping me keep my channel going. And as always, we'll see you next time.